I believe it is the fourth biggest city, I want to say. So Seoul, Busan, Daegu, Daejeon, maybe?
Well, Incheon is third biggest. It goes Seoul, Busan, Incheon.
Oh, okay.
Then
and
either
then I think
Daejeon or
Daegu.
Yeah, I get those two.
Daegu and Daejeon.
Even when I've been to both of them,
so
I
maybe
mix up
biggest
which
city.
one.
Daegu is the more southern one.
Okay.
We've been to both of them.
No, I know. We've actually casted at both of them. So, guys, if you're at a BarCraft, go ahead and one-shot your beer.
That's right.
Like,
oh no, I just got this 500cc beer.
This is a Guinness tasteless. That's going to hurt my stomach.
Too bad, nerd.
Too bad, man.
Taste is calling
Time to stretch that belly out.
Everyone right now at a BarCraft somewhere is turning to this one guy that did just get a Guinness. He's like,
oh. But you know, I really
drink
drink them because I like the flavor. I mean, they're delicious. Time to down that. Hit the beer bong. All right, we're going to go into game number 3 here. It's 1-1 right now. Zest against Sue here in the finals of the GSL Code S.
KT roster Zest versus SK Telecom T1 Sue. Fight!
Wow, the cheers in here.
It's crazy,
I'm sure we got the audience mic'd. I'm sure the people at home can hear that.
I hope so.
Basically, this is like the movie Godzilla right now. People are cheering. Feels like Godzilla's coming. They're making a new Godzilla, by the way.
I did hear that, yes.
And Walter White is in it.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
Probably just
I don't know
gonna
the
have
actor's
Godzilla
name.
killed.
He's gonna sell Godzilla madness. Godzilla gets strung out and go back in the ocean. And like, I gotta sleep for a week.
That's upside down.
It's upside down. Oh my God. Oh, that happened. Code Sue.
All right. Well, we'll see if it's Code Sue after this, Stasis.
Yeah.
Might be Code Sue what if he gets 2 second places in a row.
Wow, we have so many people down here. Is that a dog with a cupcake on its back? No, it's a baneling.
No, it's a Swarm Host.
Oh my God, it is a Swarm Host. What am I saying?
Swarm Host is the only StarCraft unit that generally has a cupcake on its back.
Okay, so we have the Nexus coming down here. And a hatchery first here for Sue. So they're both going for very econ-friendly.
Yeah. Quick
builds.
greedy. Quick greedy. We even have the gateway on top of the ramp there.
And because they're both going for builds like this, they actually have the opportunity to be greedy once again.
Yeah.
Since nobody can punish the other one for what they're doing.
Well, look at that. He is going for 3 hatch and continuing to make drones afterwards. So this is like the greediest a Zerg can be. And this is the second greediest a Protoss can be. Because if he made the gateway in his main, like behind his minerals, it's slightly more greedy than at the ramp. So I guess that gives a minuscule edge to Sue. He gets to scout it. Both players seeing exactly what's going on.
Probably a bit of a sigh of relief here on both sides. Is
they aren't going to be punished.
What they're doing now can't be contested for at least a little bit.
Yeah. Well, both of them, I think, realize that they have to be even more greedy now, like chrono booster probes and mine as many minerals as possible and just get extra drones. Maybe
From
on top of
Norway.
Oh, wow.
Excellent.
Your money is worth a lot here.
Yeah, man. I believe that.
Welcome, guys.
The currency is gold bars. Is that what they use? I remember we went to, quick story here. Artosis and I went to, we did DreamHack in Sweden. And we were always at the airport. We always try to withdraw. Like, okay, how much money do you think we're going to spend here? So we withdrew what we thought would last us a week. And we spent about, 70 to 90% of our money in one meal in a restaurant.
A beer and a pizza.
Yeah. We're like, wow, I guess the wad's not too strong out here after all.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a Stargate coming up now. There's nothing unusual about that. I would assume he's just going to crank out some Phoenixes from here.
It might even be unusual if he didn't go for a Stargate. That's how usual that is.
This is the common path to Fallout.
Well, we'll see what he wants to go for with it. I imagine it's going to be Phoenixes. But sometimes you'll see someone grab an Oracle real quick and go into some Void Rays. Now, of course, that Overlord is still floating in the main base. Probably will be moving out of there pretty soon. He's just kind of sitting it there. I guess he knows that it's eventually going to die.
It's raining on this map, Artosis.
Well, that's the name of the map, Heavy Rain.
Makes
Although
sense.
this is kind of more of a sprinkle at the moment.
Yeah, it's not that heavy at all, actually.
Yeah. Don't even really need an umbrella for this.
No. In fact, I bet the pollution's not even that bad on this map. I bet, you know...
Oh, it's pretty green
water's probably not that bad for your skin. Okay, so we have a wall in now here for Zest, getting his next 2 gateways. And Sue is just going to be droning up for the time being. He has 9, now 10 drones coming, and many more to follow suit with that.
It makes sense, you know, with your opponent doing such a greedy build as this, and going into Phoenixes. I mean, more drones are the counter to Phoenixes.
Yeah.
It's just, you just keep making drones, keep mining a ton of minerals. But we do have a few more gates coming up right now. And those are actually going to line up pretty well with Warp Gate. There is a probe on the map, so we might see some Zealot pressure coming out of Zest here. That is a possibility.
And, you know, if he does the Zealot pressure effectively, let's say he gets a Warp Prism and then gets those Zealots out there, he could do something similar to what we saw in game number 2, although it would be a much more standard approach of just walling off the ramp right away, warping in a few Zealots, doing harass.
Well, I believe he is making a pylon in the middle of the map right now. Meantime, he's flying around with these Phoenixes, seeing what he can get. A couple Queens and a Spore at that third. Can't really get much there. But of course, you can always go around the edges and pick off a few drones here and there. There's always a couple drones that venture out a little bit too far while mining.
Okay, the Phoenixes are now going to poke in up here. Notice the second and third are not quite connected. In fact, he's not even connected the main and the second. So he's been entirely focused on just boosting that economy. We see these Zealots over here. No, I'm sorry, he does not see that.
Yeah, not yet. We'll see if he actually sends anything back. Oh my god. Oh, okay, he sees it, he sees it. Very important moment there.
And here come the Zealots now.
Yeah, this would have been much more powerful for Zest had it not been scouted.
Also note he does not have +1 on these Zealots.
Nope.
Even though armor's on the way here for the Zerg, and he's not even getting +1 for the time being.
Yeah, and in fact, with this many Queens and Zerglings, this is going to be a hard attack for him, but he can always just back up and make some more Zealots. Really force a lot of Zerglings out, but he's getting really well surrounded here by Sue.
Yeah, the Zealots are not quite clumped up as well as they could have, but even without that, I can't imagine this would have actually worked.
Well, this gives what I would call a pretty strong lead to Sue. When you go for a Zealot pressure like that, he made 8 Zealots there. They did basically nothing. They were scouted in time. We have quicker upgrades, and the layer almost done here for Zerg. Very little harassment damage has even been done. Look at that, even has to drop drones. Zest isn't getting anything done, really.
I mean, you also have to look at the fact that, you know, Sue's response to this was perfect. He didn't get any roaches or anything like that. He just got the lings, because that makes the Phoenixes useless. If you use roaches to defend and attack like this, that's where the Phoenixes can actually tag team. You know, with the Zealots, the Phoenixes start to pick up the roaches. The Zealots, therefore, on the ground are doing too much damage. The Phoenixes in the air take out the rest of the roaches, and it starts to spiral out of control for the Zerg. Instead, Zest lost all those Zealots. He's trying to make up for that now, as we can see right here with the Phoenixes taking out as many drones as humanly possible.
Well, he really is actually a little bit off on his drone lifting as well, to be honest. He's taking more hits than you would generally see him take.
Yeah.
And he's just now starting his +1 against the 1-1 that's finishing up. And with this many Phoenixes and this little damage done, I mean, he's kind of at Sue's mercy here. Sue can kind of decide what he wants to do from here. Does he sit around and deny thirds? Does he take his own fourth? Does he just wait for an army to come out and then kill it off?
Well, he's going to go back now.
Well, with 1-1, man, they will tear through a lot of... Maybe not that army right there. I don't know if I would really want to hit that, but, well, he wants to. Has faith in those upgrades. No, those force fields, I guess, were actually okay.
The Zerglings are just not getting favorable engagements here.
Well, I'm surprised he even did that, because you look at that and it's that many Zealots. Even with 1-1, if he hits okay force fields, he's not going to lose everything. And if you're going to attack him with that many Zerglings, you really want to kill everything. It's kind of a weird choice there to actually engage that.
Spire almost done now. And there's a lot of gas banked up here. That most of that gas actually just now going into Corruptor production. I do believe Zest is going to easily get the third base up and running here. There's not really a lot that Sue can do. I think that was a bit of a mistake there for Sue to attack with those lings there against those Zealots.
It certainly was.
He even opted to not run away, even when he saw the battle was not going favorably.
It was a bit weird.
It was a bit weird, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I guess, you know, it's just a little bit of a mistake. He made a judgment error with his 1-1 or something, which is not something you'd expect to see here. But he's doing a lot. A lot is on his mind. A lot of pressure at the moment. To win this game is very important. Being up 2-1 as opposed to down 1-2. Psychologically, that's pretty huge, because if you lose one more game, I mean, no one comes back from that generally.
Yeah. We have a lot more mutas now being cranked out. as Sue is, entering into the exact tech that he wants to get at. It was his tech he was at in game number, or last game we actually casted. But, of course, he's now there without really having taken any real damage from Zest.
Yeah. And it's going to look a lot better this time. He's taking his 4th base. The 3rd just has started mining from Zest. And
Zerg always wants to be that 1 base ahead.
Indeed. We have the Corruptors coming in, and can't quite do anything here yet. But you know what? His Mutalisk count is going to continue to rise and rise and rise, and Zest is going to have a bit of a harder time than he did the game previously with this. It's also a bigger map, and there's like a lot of little valleys and things, and flying units are going to really abuse that more heavily than, an army that's mixed with Phoenixes and, of course, Stalkers that can blink, but also you're going to have some Sentries in there, some Zealots, possibly Archons at some point as well.
When Zerg plays like this, they tend to stay on the layer for a long time, so although Zest actually has an upgrade deficit, he can catch up pretty easily. From here on out, he'll just have to play defensive for a little bit. Now we have the Mutas coming in here. The Stalker's blinking back. Nice Stalker control, by the way.
Yeah, but even though he controls it nicely, he loses like 4 Stalkers and very few killed on the Mutas. I think he only lost like 1 Muta there, maybe 2.
And those Muta numbers are just continuing to grow and grow. Actually, 5 more Mutas now on the way, as he's also non-stop upgrading out of that Spire. The answer here for Zest is to go for Dark Templars.
This is like the tried and true old school. Everyone has always done this. When your opponent gets a lot of Mutas, they're so busy focusing on that, and they have so few ground units at home that a lot of times you can get your DTs to do a bit of damage.
Yeah, also, you got to keep in mind that people don't split up Mutas. Nice hit there on the Forge. Maybe Zest won't be catching up in upgrades. Yeah, people don't split up Mutas, so if you have DTs all over the map, the Mutas cannot defend all that at once.
Yeah, they have to have their static D, really. Other than that, they'll have some Lings around, but will the Lings be sitting in the right position? Who knows?
Sue has to be very careful not to overextend here.
You lose your Mutas once, you're basically dead. But he is taking that 5th base and starting mining gas from it, so that's kind of a big deal. When you have 5 base gas, you can just make like infinity Mutas, man. Like, that's the number right there. And hold on,
nice.
We actually have an attack in. Yeah, those force fields absolutely phenomenal. Now these Corruptors coming up, pushing the Phoenixes back so his Mutas can actually do the work.
He lost, I believe, every single sentry there.
Yeah.
Really nicely done. The Lings and Mutas just continuing to pummel these Stalkers. The Muta count is beginning to get a little bit lower. These Lings need to come in here and start soaking up some of that damage as well.
Oh man, those Lings coming in, they're dealing so much more damage to these Stalkers now, really helping those Mutas stay alive longer. In the meantime, these Corruptors pushing back the Phoenixes. A lot of cannons behind that Nexus, so it looks like he will eventually hold here, but the damage has been done, Tasteless. We have Sue in a 100 supply lead.
It's funny, it goes to show you what a game with Sue looks like if he's not dealt any damage early on. I mean, really, almost making a fool out of Zest here. Just Zest unable to have an answer to anything. Sue simply gets Mutas with his Corruptors. He's too strong, eventually barrels in. Even winning that engagement early on there at the start of this battle, when the force field wall was so perfect, it still didn't matter.
Yeah, it's so true. There's just a lot of Mutas. And you know what the thing is? Zest actually hurt himself this game. He's the one that decided to do the Zealot Warp in.
Yeah.
He's the one who got it scouted. And when it gets scouted, I mean, that's something you don't have that much control over.
It was a bit of a haphazard strategy. GG.
Yeah. I mean, you take a risk a lot of times as Protoss with some of these strong builders. Yeah, they have a lot of things to choose from. But as a Zerg player, if you figure out exactly what they're doing in time, the game can just snowball like that.
Usually if the Zerg knows and is mechanically good enough, the Zerg can respond properly and just win.
Well, Zest unhappy with that loss, of course, but looks pretty calm still, I have to say.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not down too much just yet.
No.
We're only about to go into game number 4 here.
It's not an unbeatable deficit. The thing is, when you lose that one, I feel like that's a very stressful game to lose because you can work it up in your head where it's not, okay, it's not match point. The thing is, you lose one more map. You have to kill your opponent 3 more times. If you lose one map in there, it's match point for the rest of the time for you.
Yeah.
And that can be tough.
It's also, that last game was a very straightforward game. Yeah. It wasn't like, game 1 and 2 were actually, it was a bit complicated. That last game, it was very straightforward, a kind of poor strategy choice there from Zest, good scouting from Sue. Ultimately, he couldn't stop all those Mutas in the very end. We're going to go to game number 4 after this short break, so don't